Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin. It's had some downward price action lately. We'll see if we can find some areas where we can catch some value. Let's start off by taking a look at the Fear and Greed Index, and we are back down to 79, still very elevated, still an extreme greed. As you can see here, this is just over the last month. We've touched near the 90 levels, and greed overall has been trending up really for a couple of years now. So I've wondered, are we in a mid-cycle top like we were here, or when we broke the all-time high in 2017 in December of 2020, greed stayed up here for a while. Now you can see there were a couple dips, in the true top for Bitcoin wasn't until March, April, or the first top at least. And I'm talking about right here. So it is possible that we're just getting a little bit of corrections going on in the price action. And this was also the second top right here. So all because the greed is going down does not mean we can't go higher. We do have the halving coming up around April 22nd. So do mark your calendars for around that day, April 22nd, and see what the price action does. I have wondered if, kind of like when the ETF was approved, which is right here, it got the 49,000, that if it's going to be a short term buy the rumor, sell the news event before coming back up. So remember, when the ETF was approved, this was January 24th. We didn't get back above that price until February 12th, or January 11th. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong number. January 11th, February 12th. So it took a month. And right here, you see Bitcoin, we were in all-time highs. We got well above it, at least until, 74,000. And we're coming back down to this range right here, around 62. So if it settled in here at 62, that I'd be fine with that. If it came back down to this fib level around 57.5, that's something I'd be fine with. Right down here, major support around 51. You see all this structure. Also, by the time it gets there, what do you notice here? It's this trend line. I talked about this before, not for a while now, but this trend line that Bitcoin, the price action has been playing with it, bouncing off of, coming back up to, riding up on, getting back above it. Again, after the ETF approval, coming back down. We just seem to be coming back to this trend line. So I'm going to be watching this trend line. As far as on the weekly, you can see Bitcoin, it's still green. We're still green. I know there's a lot of altcoins popping off with some sell signals on the weekly. And guys, this may be, if we are here somewhere in December 2020, a similar type of thing, this may end up being one of the last best chances to get into some good value. Now, it's important to note that when we have a sell signal, and sure, price might look great, you don't want to just jump in too early because you could be catching a falling knife. You never know if we go lower, much lower than you anticipate. You can see here the RSI, it does have to stay high. It has to stay above 50 to keep its strength and to keep moving higher. But the nice thing about when the RSI goes low, if the price does stay high, well, the next move up can be pretty strong. Excuse me, get my morning drink in. So just a smoothie though, something healthy. So again, we're seeing these weekly sell signals pop off. I'm watching those. I don't buy anything underneath that time frame, me personally, because I like to take the long-term approach, find value. Also, I think the longer time frames help take the emotion out of it. People, they start looking at the daily. I mean, look at all this red, trying to catch the bottoms and sell the tops. That's why trading isn't for me. So investing, or with crypto, maybe you could call it trade vesting. I like to take that approach. Guys, I'll keep doing these videos, and as soon as we get a turnaround on the green, hey, maybe it's time to get in, So I'm looking at cryptos like Link, IMX, some of the other smaller caps, ACH, no weekly sell signal yet. ICP, right? Similar structure as Bitcoin over the last month. Jasmy just got a red candle, but no sell signal confirmed yet. And other cryptos like DNT District still up there. So going to the tether dominance, something I've noted that at least on the weekly, when Bitcoin got down to this trend line on the tether dominance, this is signaled tops. But when it got down to this trend line, the RSI was below 50. And once the RSI got above 50, that's when it sold off. So the RSI is still down here. I would assume that we wouldn't get back above 50 for a while. Now, you never know. Maybe we have a very sharp, violent move up, just like we've had down and up before. So keep an eye on the tether dominance. Once the weekly gets around 50, I think even more selling could take place. So, just looking like right here, that could happen. So, again, either we're bouncing off this trend line and it's the peak before a dump, kind of like the 2019's mid-cycle top before the COVID dump, or if the RSI stays down here and the tether dominance stays riding up this trend line, then yeah, maybe this is the time we get to like 120, 150,000 Bitcoin. So watch the RSI on the weekly. I'll keep updating you guys on that. Bitcoin dominance, zooming out, we've noted how when the dominance crashes, Bitcoin dominance, it's the overall amount of money in crypto that is in Bitcoin. That's what that dominance percentage shows. When it crashes, if you see the dates at the bottom, that's alt season. When it crashes, that's alt season. So zooming out here, I've wondered if we're going to come back up to this trend line that we hit before selling off down here, because once the dominance crashes, I know this lower trend line ain't the prettiest, but once it crashes, that's alt season. And typically it's somewhere between 2 weeks to 8 weeks, somewhere in there. If we take a look at these dates at the bottom, when dominance peaked, look at that. That was around December 2020. That's when Bitcoin broke its prior all-time high in 2017. So I am watching dominance. You can see here how it doesn't look like it just wants to break to a yearly high. So if dominance gets up here around this 56 to 58%, or even spikes up there really quick, if it spikes up there really quick, kind of like it did back here in December, then I do think maybe the end is near as far as a local top in Bitcoin, where altcoins could go parabolic once dominance sells off. Last thing I want to do, or at least a couple last things, I want to take a look at some of the fibs and the moving averages. So let's take this fib and let's look at it on log scale right here. That 50,000 level, that would be the next level down to watch for. And I've noted that the percentage that Bitcoin goes up each halving year is about half the amount. I'm talking about every presidential election year. So we're in 2024, 2020, 2016. The halving year 4 years ago, the price was moving up about twice this amount, like 65%, until quantitative easing, and it just broke higher. The halving year before that, in 2016, it moved up double that amount, around 125%. As you can see here, the one before, 250%. So obviously we've already gotten above it, but I'm leaving this up here to see maybe we're going to get back down to it. Those other halving cycles, we've usually started low and then gone high. So I'm wondering if we're going to get high, maybe have that top, and then come low and finish around this 55,000 level at the end of the year. It'll be funny to see if something like that happens. Bitcoin, As you can see here, this is on the weekly. We're above that 10 moving average. If we go to the daily, you can notice that it's broken below the 20, and that's key support. So again, that's why I'm looking at that 61,000 time frame. Let's throw on some other EMAs, see if there's any other, here we go, see if there's any other areas we might catch. So this is the 50-day moving average, and this one's around 60,000. So that's an area to look for. If we go back out to the weekly, you can see we would still have to catch that 20, the 20 weekly moving average. So could this coincide with one of these trend lines we've talked about? Maybe. Market psychology wise, guys, just an important thing to consider and think about. If you were getting excited about the price of your altcoins recently and how much they were shooting up, and you're feeling very happy, I'm happy for you. Just remember, that's not the time to buy. That's the time to be excited about how you've spent time in the market accumulating dollar cost averaging into altcoins down here so you can benefit from it when it's up here. So if you sold it all, took some profits, congrats. If you're holding, I still believe that it's very possible. Now, I tried not to get too much in the prediction game, but I'm still of the belief, because a couple indicators, mainly the tether dominance, once it crashes, then I'll be confident that things are over, at least this cycle. But I still believe things can go a lot higher. I still think that, all because prices are going down, that's not cause to be concerned yet. We still have some prior cycle phenomena that still has to play out. So right now, the way I'm looking at this is that should the weekly get a sell-off, should we come down, once we establish some structure and a little bit of accumulation for another move up, and as you can see, even here before breaking to the first all-time high that we had in April 21, after we broke the prior one, of course, there were still these areas where Bitcoin settled around for a little bit. Even here, as it was, let's go to the daily, go to December of 2020. As you can see, November, December, we still had these areas of some consolidation, and some of these drops, I know it might not seem like a lot, we still had 17% drops. And here, I'm sure this shook people out before the very top, a 30% drop. So whether we're getting 20% drops like we've had here and here, and I can just measure any of these out, these were all around 20 to 22%. Okay, if we get another one of those, or even 30%, guys, I think that's another possible opportunity to buy more. So here it's 15%, 22%, 23%, near that line I've shown you over here. Something more violent like 30 down here, that 51 level. And maybe that would be one more big correction before shooting up. So try not to get too caught up in the prediction game just because we've had similar things happen before, that it has to happen again. Remember, correlation, when things are showing a pattern, does not equal causation. That does not mean we can still anticipate the same results. That's why I say here, market data is not enough to predict future results. Every time is a little bit different. You have to be able to react. And again, you can take a lot of the emotion out of it just by increasing your time in the market, finding the good values. If you liked and believed in crypto and your altcoins back here, and you were happy about them back here, this is not the time to be a sad panda about it. As we've had these sell signals on the weekly, let me put this back up there. As we've had these sell signals, now's the time to be patient. And if you are already holding an asset like this and you've bought it here and down here, well, now's the time to look to buy in some more if you believe this is going to go higher. So should we get some turnaround, some green buy signals, and Bitcoin seems to have settled off in its structure wherever it's going. And I don't know. Maybe it's going to this 10 on the moving average here. Maybe it's going to settle around 57, 56, 51. I don't know. No one knows. But when it does, and it starts to build some structure, guys, and we're getting some good buy signals, that's the time where you can get back in. So, one of the things when crypto does have these parabolic runs and the altcoins just go crazy, when crypto has those runs, it, people are always talking about how they wish they would have had more. Well, this is your opportunity. So I know it sucks to see red. Also, let's be realistic. We can't be green forever. And the nice thing about these red candles is it does give us opportunity to get back in on some green candles and structure. So I'm watching the fibs, I'm watching the moving averages, I'm watching these sell buy signals and seeing if and when we can look at some opportunities to get back in. So, me personally, I'm excited. I'm more excited down here than I was up here because now I know I have the opportunity to possibly buy in some more on some of the altcoins I like. So, when I talk about being looking for opportunities when there's fear, if the fear and greed does possibly have a dip down like we did here. I mean, look at this. This was January of 21. If we do dip down in January 21, you can barely notice it here. Oh, there it is. There's January 21. If we do dip down, then hey, maybe that's an opportunity to buy. But again, what I'm looking for a couple times to get out when dominance crashes and when tether dominance on the weekly, I have to take it off log here, on the weekly gets to 50. Me personally, that's what I'm looking to uh, take some profits by then. Okay, not financial advice. You do you. It's hard to time the top, and I'm not looking to time the top, but at least by then, those are two areas where I will be considering taking some profits. So I'm hoping that this video and the way I describe the markets, fear and greed is helping you guys take a different sort of perspective on the markets. I know it sucks to see red. At the same time, if you truly want to be investing for the long term, you got to take emotion out of it. You got to think like a robot. And when you get lower prices on something you like and believe in, well, that's when you should be buying in more. Not just when it's falling. That's stupid too. You don't want to just, hey, the price is lower. I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy. Don't do that either. Again, we look for structural support, and sometimes you will, kind of like in here, you will get eaten up time to time. So, if I know a lot of people bought in over here, and well, they had the way to wallow see profits. However, if it's something you like, something you believe in, you see structural support, you see that we're oversold, that fear is high in the markets, well, then those are indicators that you can get back in. Of course, all that being said, something to remember, just looking at this from a practical standpoint, a lot of these assets are near yearly highs, so if they are having a little bit of a sell off, you do want to see them come down a bit. And I don't like to buy when things are within 10-20% of a yearly high. I still think that's too rich for me. So unless it's an asset I really, really like, then maybe 20-ish% on down or lower on the turnaround when there's a buy signal, then I look to get back in. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you have a fantastic Tuesday and that you are all doing well and can possibly find some upcoming opportunities to get in some altcoins or look for some value. So, anyways, take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye bye.